so many pieces all back together now. What's your vision?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Pop Culture Galaxy Show. I'm Mark Bridge, and I'm here to talk all things movies, video games, TV shows, comics, whatever, because this is my show, and I get to do whatever I want to do with it. Alright, before I start with the news, I guess I can talk about what I've been watching. I did watch the third season of The Man in the High Castle. Really good show. I love that show. When I binged the first two seasons, and I was like, wait a minute, why is it taking so long for the third season to come out? I think they took like maybe a year off, but we're getting season 4 will be the last, and we're getting season 4 pretty soon. I gotta look up when that's coming, but did watch season 3. If you have never seen it, I highly recommend that you watch it, especially if you love like sci-fi stuff and historical things. I mean, there's some history in it, but it's alternate history, of course, you know. It's a story that takes place in the 60s, where the Nazis actually won the war. And then during that time, you know, a lot of people are receiving these films, and these films show an alternate reality, which is our reality, where the Nazis lost. And then later in season 2, you find out there's people who can travel between worlds and shit. And then season 3 actually deals with that a lot more. It goes deeper into the more sci-fi aspect of it. So I expect season 4 to really delve into it, because it's gonna be the last season. You know, the Nazis pretty much know about it now, and they want to travel into other Earths that doesn't have the Nazis occupying them and take over. So it was a really good season. I really dug it. Like, yes, the thing about it is, since we have season 1, 2, and 3, the season 1 definitely starts out on a slower end, only because, you know, they want you to get invested in these characters but sprinkling a little bit of like sci-fi stuff in it, but doesn't deal too much with the sci-fi. It's just more a character piece. And then season 2 gets more sci-fi, and then season 3 more, you know. So you're already invested in these characters by the time it goes bonkers with the whole sci-fi stuff. So I think that's the route they took with this, and it's good for binging. If you had to do this week to week, you'd be like, oh my god, kill me, get to the point. But it's a binge show, and you can definitely go with it. So that's my recommendation. That's what I've been watching. Now let's get into some movie news. Alright, so first thing I want to talk about is that Flash movie that's never gonna get made. I'm convinced it's never gonna get made. Like, it started out with so many filmmakers. I can never say his name properly. Let me look it up. He directed Dope. Rick Famuyiwa, whatever the fuck, man. That guy. He directed Dope. I think he's going to be directing. Oh my god, he was just put on something huge. I don't remember what it is, but anyway, he was on board to direct that. Before him, Lord and Miller were set to direct it, and then they left that project for Han Solo, and we all know how that turned out. But you know, it's a revolving doors of creators and directors, and everybody's leaving. But finally, they've managed to get some filmmakers attached to it. 2, in fact, John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. They've joined the team as directors, but that didn't help the delays. It got delayed. This movie was announced in 2014. Now it's delayed again. They say shoot time will be late 2019 for a 2021 release. I don't know what's taking so long with this movie. I mean, it's getting rewritten, script changes, cast changes. I don't even know if the same cast members are involved. I know Ezra Miller, of course, he's still in the movie, but he has his Fantastic Beast duties. He's actually coming back. I think they said he's coming back for Fantastic Beast 3. But I don't know, man. Are they still going with Flashpoint? Are they still going to use his movie to kind of do like a whole pseudo reboot of the universe? Who knows? It's just we can't. It's like the DCEU makes a step forward and then 2 steps back. You know, we're excited for Aquaman, we're excited for Shazam, we're excited for Wonder Woman. We're excited for the Joker movie, even though that's not in the universe, but it's still kind of their whole take on the whole Joker spin. But then they announced stuff like Birds of Prey with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, which she was never a part of Birds of Prey, but hey, that's her passion project. We don't know what's happening with Batman, the whole Ben Affleck thing, the whole Henry Cavill thing with Superman, this being delayed. I don't know. At this point, I'll just watch a DC movie and just not care about what the story they're trying to tell. Hey, what can you do? So the next story I want to talk about is Avengers 4. Now, this is a company. See, I hate doing this because I sound like a fanboy, but you can't sound like a fanboy if you're speaking the truth. When there's a company that's actually doing well and a company that's not, you know, you gotta tell it like it is. Hey, I'm a fan of this because they're doing well. I can't just be a blind supporter of DC because I love DC characters. You know what I'm saying? I'll just defend them to death, right? Perfect example. Let's go to the whole video game thing. You had Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 at the time. You know, when PlayStation 3 came out, they announced their shit like for $800. They didn't care. And then Xbox, they had a cheaper price point. That's because they were offering less. But it paid out for them. You know, it worked out for them. People were more buying into their stuff. And you know, they were doing their thing for a while. I mean, I was still a fan of Sony, right? But I called it like it is. They launched their product too high, even though it was worth it. When I say it's worth it, I mean literally they were selling their shit at a loss, right? The equipment in the PlayStation 3, when you factor in the cost to develop that shit, right? You're not paying that price. You're paying less than the price to develop at the time. So you were literally paying for what it's worth, or less than what it's more than what it's worth, or less than what it's worth. Yeah, you were paying less than what it's worth, right? So you're getting your money's worth with Sony, but it's just their strategy in terms of making this complicated system that nobody could develop for is just, you know, just bitten them in the ass. And over time, Sony got their shit together, and the PS3 was able to build up a strong library when people figured out how to use the build for the cell and everything. But it was kind of too late, whatever. But then they learned from their mistake, and PS4 jumped and right. So now you can be a Sony fan and, you know, look at Xbox and what they're doing right now, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. DC, Marvel, DC, they're just not. DC is struggling, Marvel is not. Now let's talk about what's going on with Marvel. The Avengers 4, we don't know the name of the title, but everybody's speculating Annihilation, Endgame, Eternity, a whole bunch of things, but we just don't know. The Russo brothers aren't helping either with their cryptic tweets, so we don't know what it's called. And the only information we can get from the Avengers 4 is from, like, inside sources or rumors and stuff like that. But one of the information we did get is the costume for potential. Hopefully this is real. I mean, it looks legit, you know. There's a toy, the toy companies, they kind of have to have information on the movie quite early before the regular folks, because they got to make the toys for them. They can't the movie can't be coming out in May. They watch the movie in April and then make toys for May. They have to get the information really early so that they can strategize on their release plan and create and manufacture these toys and everything. So they know a lot more than we do. So some of the toy box did reveal some suits that they'll have, and it looks quite cosmic. Dare we say quantum? No, that makes no sense. But anyway, a lot of people are speculating that the suit that Rocket Raccoon and Thor, which was featured on the box art, are wearing, is because they need to venture through the quantum realm. It has the same kind of color scheme as Hank Pym's suit in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So they're kind of like, oh, maybe that's what it's built for. Who knows? Maybe it has to do with them being in space. Even though Rocket and Thor are always in space, they never have that suit. So whatever that suit's built for, it does look pretty cool, I gotta say. I'm a sucker for like suits, like when they have like different variations in suits. I'm not like, oh, the suit has to be the same for every character. Like if Superman has like a different alternate suit that he wears sometimes for specific missions, which he does. I think he does have a spacesuit, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty cool. Like even in one of my favorite Superman storylines, Superman Unchained, which I did a review for, you can check that out. There's one part of it where he comes out in this big armor suit that was pretty tight. You know what I'm saying? Like it looked dope. So that was pretty cool. So I like little alternate suits here and there. Shake things up a little bit. So if that's actually true, does look pretty cool. Looks pretty solid. But all these talks of Avengers, the suits, and these little leaks that are coming out leads me to believe that we're gonna get a title pretty soon. Well, maybe not. I think, when was the first Avengers trailer? The first Infinity War trailer. I think that came out in November, I think. We're halfway through October. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a title or something. Cross my fingers that we'll get some information pretty soon, because I'm really excited for that movie. Can't wait. Now, staying on Marvel and staying on suits, is the next suit we did see is the suit for Spider-Man in Spider-Man Far From Home, which is red and black, which is very reminiscent of Miles Morales' suit in his Spider-Man run. It just the color scheme though, not necessarily the design, but that's one of the suits we did see. We see also hints of like other suits that he'll be wearing in the movie, including a stealth suit, which would make sense because now we have Sam Jackson and Maria Hill in this movie. Like, our feeling is that SHIELD somehow comes back either during Avengers 4 or at the end of Avengers 4, that the world realized that we need SHIELD, and Sam Jackson comes back as Nick Fury as the head of SHIELD, and he somehow recruits Peter Parker in whatever mission or threat that's happening. He needs a specific set of skills, not necessarily the Avengers or whoever is left. Maybe the Avengers are gone at the end of Avengers 4, and the only hero that's left is Spider-Man, and he has to sort of take up the mantle of or the slack of all these superheroes that are gone. And lo and behold, he's in charge of going on a mission for Nick. Now, I could see why he would have that stealth suit, that all black suit that he had. Maybe it's designed by SHIELD and he goes on a mission that requires it. And then you have another mission that somehow requires the red and black suit that may have different abilities than the other suit that Tony designed for him. Maybe this is a SHIELD designed suit. Hopefully Karen comes back, because Karen was pretty cool. Karen was It was a decent addition to the Spider-Man mythos, at least in the films. And if she makes a comeback for this one, it would be pretty cool too. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. I did like how the suit looks, and I can't wait to see it. But time will tell. That's like the third movie that we have to wait for until Avengers 4. I mean, we gotta see Captain Marvel and then Avengers 4 and then Spider-Man Far From Home. So that's a ways off. But we got some cool stuff in the interim before we get to see Spider-Man Far From Home. All right, so that'll do it for the movie news portion. Now stay tuned for some TV news. Alright, so the first thing that I want to talk about in TV news is the cancellation of Iron Fist. That's kind of a bummer. Now here's why. The first season was terrible. I admit it. And I thought, this, like, I always hated when people talked about how all these Netflix shows are 13 episodes. Why they have to be 13 episodes? They should make them 8 or 7. It's like, shut up, man. I want more. I don't want to just watch 8 episodes. Like, sometimes I'll be watching like something like a Punisher or Altered Carbon or something like that, and it's so good, right? And I'll get to like say episode 7 or something like that, but I don't know if it's episode 7, so I would pause it, then check the info to see, 7 episodes, or sometimes I don't even know how many episodes in total. So I would do like a quick search, and like, okay, good, I have like 4 more episodes left, or 5 more, depending on how many episodes are in it. I would be like, oh man, I don't want this thing to end, because I know once it's done, I would have to wait a whole year for like season 2, right? So I always hated that. It's like, no, give me more, man. If you have more, give me more. All of that except for Iron Fist. Iron Fist could have been 6 episodes. Definitely. Number one, it would have like given more like the budget that was allocated to it. You could have used more of it to deal with choreography, to show actual Kunlun, and like some of the special effects, and a dragon when he punches the dragon. You could have had more money to do all of that, but you spread it across 13 episodes. You just didn't have enough money to do shit other than boardroom chats. You know what I mean? Then Defenders came out. Defenders was okay. I did watch it again, and it played a little bit better, because I guess I was more looking at it as another chapter in Matt Murdock's life, other than just a team-up movie. It was like, it's the next chapter in Matt Murdock, and then after that will be Daredevil season 3. So I really watched it in preparation for Daredevil season 3, than to rewatch it for any other purpose. But it did play better the second time I watched Defenders. Of course, Danny showed up in one episode of Luke Cage, which is a much better approach to the character. And then season 2 came. They shortened it to 10 episodes instead of 13. So they had a little bit more budget in there. They had a little bit more choreography in terms of the martial arts. So it was a much better season, and like they were adding more stuff. I think that Ed Brubaker did with his run of Iron Fist. They were adding more of the elements in there, and the way how that ends, you could see going forward when they did season 3 that they could really go into the more mystical part of it, which is what I was hoping for, right? But they canceled it. I was bummed out, and even there's fans out there, all of a sudden they came out, it's like they're trying to petition for it to come back, which I don't think is gonna work, because I don't think it has that many fans. There are people who hated the first season who stayed away from this season, that just, so you may have Netflix is where you go to save things, right? You petition for Netflix to save things. So if they don't want to carry it, it's a lost cause. So don't even try. Now, the way how the showrunners said it was, or was it the showrunners, or I think the executives over at Netflix said it. And I gotta credit John Campea for this. I was watching a show when he was talking about this, and I was like, I never thought about it that way, right? It reads that Iron Fist will no longer be on Netflix. They're not doing season 3 on Netflix, and so it won't be shown. But the immortal Iron Fist lives on. Now, that could just be like play on words. It's the immortal Iron Fist, so obviously he'll live on if he's immortal. But John Campea did raise up something pretty interesting, which actually sounds legit. We all know that Disney Play, or whatever Disney's calling their streaming service, is coming out pretty soon. So what if they said, you know what, Iron Fist doesn't work on Netflix because, number one, it's a Marvel show, right? Because you ever notice that, like, if you look at a Stranger Things and or Altered Carbon, like, these things have a lot of money in them, right? Like the special effects and everything. So why can't that be applied to the Marvel shows? Well, Netflix is licensing that show, really, right? Marvel Studios, the television part, Marvel Television and ABC Studios, they're the ones who produced the show and sell it to Netflix. So Netflix is really buying the show from them, like, right? Buy it as is. Okay, that's the product you made. I'm buying that, and we should see a return on investment akin to what we paid for your show. They're just not seeing it. Now, the thing with Marvel is paying for the show themselves, right? So they have the budget that they have for all their Marvel shows, and whatever they're doing in that package, the Netflix package, is just not big enough to do Iron Fist justice. But what if they decide, all right, let's take it out of the Netflix package, right? Let's put it somewhere where we can allocate more funds to it. Like, let a different production team take over, right? Now, if Disney themselves is footing the bill for this thing, then they can put more money in it, right? Because, like I said, they can only make it for a certain amount of money if they're gonna sell it to another company. If Netflix is only going to buy, if Netflix is saying, listen, man, I can only afford 20 million. I can only afford to pay you guys. I mean, it's gonna be more. Let's go for $100 million, right? For all your Netflix shows, I can only pay you $100 million, right? That means Marvel can't take $100 million and make it the show, because then they'll just breaking even, really, right? Or they can't pay more than $100 million in total of their shows, because then they'll be losing money when they sell it to Netflix. So they have to make the budget where they can make a profit. When Netflix actually purchase this thing, they can make a profit on it. So they'll spend $70 million on all their Marvel shows put together, and then sell it to Netflix, and then Netflix pays $100 million. So what, they make a $30 million profit on what Netflix spend on it, right? So that's how it would work. But if they're dealing with their own streaming service, right, and they determine, okay, now we can spend a bunch of money on this show because we're putting it on our own platform, which means that we don't have to share. We can market it how we want to market it. We can put it in any amount of package we want to do it, because it's on our platform, and we're charging these people this X amount of money to be on our platform. So let's just put it in our platform. That way we can actually make Iron Fist how it's supposed to be. Because, to be honest, Iron Fist really doesn't belong in that whole Netflix category, because it's really fantastical. Even though he and Luke Cage are buddies and they have their own teams, Hero for Hire, which he can still do, by the way, because he could still show up in a Netflix show. Cross fingers. If they do, if they're saying we're taking it off Netflix to put it on our own platform, hopefully they still share the toys, because, come on, they have so much in common now. But that's my thinking. that was John Campia's assessment, and then I was really thinking about it, and that makes sense. If Disney decides to make it their own, and that's the way to go. So hopefully that's what they're doing, and that's how we will get to see Iron Fist again done properly. We can actually put the budget into making Kunlun a reality, and put the budget in making the dragon a reality, and put the budget in making all these cool, crazy stunts. Like, I always wanted Iron Fist to be like that show on AMC, Into the Badlands. Like the martial arts in that was badass, and that's what I wanted for Iron Fist. But we never got that. Even in as good as season 2 is, it still didn't touch any of the quality when it comes to combat Into the Badlands. And that's going into season 3. Like, damn. So hopefully that's what they're doing. If not, hopefully he shows up in the other Netflix shows, or they just cancel Luke Cage after maybe season 3 and do a Heroes for Hire show. Maybe that's what they're talking about. But then that would just leave the other untouched plots that season 3 was supposed to be dealing with. So, well, I don't know. Let's see what they do. Alright, the next bit of news I want to talk about is Watchmen. The prequel, sequel, remix, whatever Damon Lindelof is saying. We don't know what the show is. He's saying it's not a remake, it's not a sequel, it's not a prequel, but it deals with I can't even, I don't know. But whatever this movie is, we do get to see a first glimpse of it, which is Damon, he tweeted out a character that's going to be featured in it, which looks like he's like a cop but has like a yellow mask, because yellow is like a huge thing in Watchmen. So a yellow like handkerchief or something, a face mask. So that's a new character, brand new character. We've never seen that character in any of the Watchmen iterations, whether it's before Watchmen or Watchmen. We've never seen any of them. And he doesn't name who this character is. He just puts on under the picture who watches the Watchmen. Okay, I mean, it looks cool. It looks cool. I can't say much more than that, other than it looks cool. We don't know who the character is or what is gonna happen with this character. But Watchmen is coming out in 2019. Could potentially be HBO's next flagship show. I know they're trying to make Westworld their next flagship show after Game of Thrones. It could possibly be the next flagship show. Who knows? But it might be a little bit too cerebral for mainstream fans to latch onto. They like mainstream fans like drama, intrigue, and action, and sex and violence. All those put into one, then you got the mainstream fans. But when mainstream fans have to think and remember shit that happened in 2 episodes ago and apply it to an episode that maybe like doesn't pay off until another episode after that, and you gotta keep track of all these storylines, that's probably not gonna work for them. It's like, nah, I like my guilty pleasure stuff. I like to sit back, relax, and watch a cool soap opera type of stories. If you make soap opera high art, that's when they like the shit. You know what I'm saying? But if you're trying to give them cerebral stuff, they're like, nah, dude, I'll pass. Right? Now, not to say Watchmen could be it, because it's Damon Lindelof. He's not trying to be simple. He's never simple with anything he does. But if he manages to sort of, superhero film is such a big deal now that people are ready for something like Watchmen, right? That they could possibly get on board with this one and see, embrace it, and it could possibly be the new flagship show. But I'm not ready to call it yet. Let's see at least a trailer or the very first episode. Like I said, it's Damon Lindelof. He's not a very simple guy, so I'm not ready to call that. But I could see HBO trying to make their new flagship show, especially how superhero genre has taken off into such high degrees now. That could be that show that they want. or maybe they're just waiting for the Game of Thrones spin-off to to continue that trend. Who knows? All right, the final bit of TV news I want to talk about is something I was not aware of until recently. Is a Alfred Pennyworth television show coming out, but it's gonna be on Epix, which I don't have. I don't know how popular that's gonna be. So basically, the same creators of the Gotham show, Bruno Heller, he's bringing Alfred, which is not connected to the Gotham TV series. It's a whole new show that has to do with Alfred, just coming out of the SAS, and he signed on with Thomas Wayne, and it's gonna be like 10 episodes, and it's dealing with how, you know, he used to be a mild-mannered kid, and then he went into the SAS, became like a cold-blooded killer, and he's trying to wrestle with his two identities. I don't know if it's gonna be an action-packed show or if it's just gonna be a drama that just has to do with Thomas Wayne and Alfred, but I doubt it. They're trying to do a drama. I think maybe it'll have to do with like some of Alfred's past coming, especially being an SAS. Like maybe some of the stuff he dealt with while he was in SAS comes back to bite him. You know, he and Thomas have to figure out how to navigate through those waters until, like, you know, Bruce is born and he takes over as Bruce's guardian. But we have cast members of this thing. Jack Bannon, I think, is that his name? Yeah, Jack Bannon, who I've never seen him before, but he was in the Intimidation Game. Never seen that movie, but he's cast as Alfred. And then Thomas Wayne, I did see a cast for him. Ben Aldridge. He's cast as Thomas Wayne, but it's gonna be 10 episodes. Is it a good idea? Like, Alfred is a very intriguing character, I gotta say. Like, even, you know, there's always hints in the comic books that he's had like a very secreted past that gave him certain skills. Like, for instance, you know, I remember when Batman got his bat broken, that he was the one who actually set things into place, took him out of his suits, you know, kind of did like the preliminary work on him before he made him go to the actual doctors. So, you know, he's always had some sort of skill involved, and then later adaptations really infused that in his history. And then the Gotham TV show that really paints him as a badass, who's one of the guys who's training Bruce, you know, that really sells the idea that he is, you know, a badass. And then the Dark Knight trilogy also have a little bit of hints there as well. So this could be a cool story that goes deep into his story in his, you know. But the problem with that has the same problem with all prequels, is that you know the outcome, so you're not really that invested in the characters because you know they're not gonna die. So you have to really come with creative dramas that could happen. Maybe it's just about the people that's surrounding Alfred, and not necessarily Alfred himself, that would be put in harm's way, because you know he's just gonna come out because he has to be alive to raise Bruce. So it's a tricky thing, and they're just gonna have to figure out a way to make it work, because, you know, and it's on a Epix. I don't know how many people have Epix. Maybe I have it on my cable package, I just don't know. So I would have to check that out. But who knows? Let's see who watches that shit. Alright, so that'll wrap up this episode of the Pop Culture Galaxy show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of all the topics I talked about today. And if you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that, you can send an email to thepgshow@popculturegalaxy.com. That's thepgshow@popculturegalaxy.com. So until next time, folks, I want to say peace.